Okay, the first strategy that we use in our premium collection, I use this on the daily the majority of the time. You can do it on the week, but the majority of the time I do it on the daily time frame. You can use it across indexes, commodities, futures, Forex. It really doesn't matter what vehicle you're using. You can see in front of you we have a chart of the S&P 500. And what I like to do, I have a range indicator. Basically, it tells me over the past 20 days what's the average of the range from high to low. What's the from high to low? What is the average daily range? And what I'm looking for, I want 100% of that average daily range to be filled prior to putting on one of these trades. So let me repeat that again. If you're taking notes, please note this: 20-day average daily range must be above the 100% mark. Basically, we want to be past our 20-day average range for this to work. You can see my indicator on here. This particular indicator works with MetaTrader 4. If you have MetaTrader 4, you can use it. If you don't have MetaTrader 4, at that point you can use the average daily range indicators with your particular platform. Now, what I look for, this is a basically from the open, this is 50% up. And this line would be 50% down. And then we have a 100 mark as well. And then to the downside, we have a 100 mark also. It's not really visible. But nonetheless, what I'm looking for is a break above this line. I also have the average, 20-day average is 1,120. And then we have today's range, 1563. And then at that point, what I want to do is I want to look at my options chain, and wherever current price is, wherever you hit your 100-day average, which would be right here, at that point you're going to have options chains that go up and your options chains that go down. And at that point I want to look at selling one up here to collect premium. And that way I don't typically do the reversal play, because if it goes up that much, it possibly can go down. You can, if you choose to, go ahead and buy in the money, deep in the money, and then sell deep out of the money. And that is what I'm looking for. Basically looking for it to either pull back or move in a range from where it is currently until the close of the session that day, and that daily option expires in my favor. And it expires in my favor the majority of the time. One caveat to this, and you need to take a note here, is news. You need to not do this on news days. So no trades on news days, because you don't know what's going to happen from that news, so you want to stay away from it. Let's take a look at another example. Here's one in the Euro USD. Right here is where it hit its range for the day. You can see the average is 108 over the past 20 days. But if you have today's range was 132, and so that means that we're looking, since it hit it right about this level. And so at that point, typically we're selling 60 pips out in either direction. So if we look at that just from a quick dropping stuff on the line here, we have 60 pips would be right about here, around the 129.43 mark. And to the downside, which is the direction I like to sell, would be right around the 128.25 mark. So right about here. So at this point, we're going to use this one to the downside and this one to the upside and collect the premium. Basically selling at this point, this would be, we'd be buying. This is deep in the money, and this would be considered deep out of the money. And you're going to have to look at your options chains because price, right around here, they're going to be graduated up Typically we have 20 or so from the center price up, and then we're going to look for ones that actually have both a bid and an offer, and we can actually sell it. Now let's take a look at one more example here in the gold. Once gold hits a certain level for the day, you can see the majority of the time it did spike a little bit higher, but then just went flat for the rest of that day. And that's what we're looking for. Basically looking for that 100% of the average daily range to be eaten up. And for that, we go several points out in either direction, and we can either buy or sell. And hopefully the odds are in our favor that the market will not continue in that direction or pull back in that amount before the option expires at the end of the day. So let's take a look at our options chain. Let's go over to, say, the Euro USD. We'll take a look at it. You can see that we have our options chains here, bid and offer. We have a deep in the money right here. So if we were to buy this, it's going to cost us $97, and we're going to make $3. Okay, so that is where the current market. If we want to buy a deep in the money option, this is what it looks like. And we are still several 100 pips away at that point. Let's actually go back and take a look at where current price is. Current price is at 128.78. So you're talking about several hundreds of pips away. Now a deep out of the money, we're going to be up here at 130.75. At that point, we're going to look to sell. It's going to cost us $98 to make $3. The total, assuming that the market does not go above or close above 130.75 or below 126.75 for the rest of the week. At that point, we would collect $5 when we're risking 89 and we're risking 97 on the other one. Not the best. If you wanted to bring it in a little bit, you could do that. The next one up is 127.25, and at that point you're putting up 92 to make 8, so that's a little bit better. It does narrow your overall range. Here's one. If you don't believe it's going to break that 3.3 thousand level, at that point you could sell it for 92 and make 8. So that's what the option chains looks like for this particular one. Remember, we typically do this on the day. You're going to wait later in the day for this play. Sometimes it's later, sometimes it's earlier. It depends on how quickly it actually hits that average daily range. And the Forex, because it's a 24-hour market, you can come in at the start of the U.S. session and it already have hit its daily range. But for commodities, for gold, corn, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. S&P 500, a few hours into the day, it hits it, and at that point you can look at selling the premium for profit. Well, let's move on to our next strategy.